So tonight's project is 2019 Ranger XP 1000 Premium. I'm putting a like $20,000, almost $20,000 machine with everything I have done to it. I'm putting a $100 Harbor Freight winch on the front. I know a lot of you are going to say, you spend all that money on the machine and you put such a cheap winch on it. I have three other Badland winches and pretty happy with them. I can replace it several times before I get to the cost of a super winch or anything like that. So that's what I'm doing, and I don't use a winch very often. I use it to lift the snowplow. What I really like about this is it has the rollers, and I'm going to post some pictures. I'm going to show you what it took to get up to this point, but I don't want to bore you with the small details, but I'm starting to hook up the electric, and those go to there, and then they're going to come up to this solenoid here. It's going to come up to this, and it's all color coded. Harbor Freight Badland winches do a real good job of showing you laying it out with colors. I also want to talk about, I spent extra money on this winch mount. This is from Kolpin, and I went with this specific one because it is the only one I could find that wasn't a several piece mount. This is just like the factory winch mount. If you buy a factory Polaris winch mount, that's what you get. It was 83 bucks, and pretty much any winch will mount to it. So I spent the extra money, and it mounts how it's supposed to. A lot of other winch mounts that I saw were like 2 or 3 pieces, and the winch had to mount the wrong way. I didn't want to deal with any of that. 83 bucks from Kolpin. I'll post a picture of the part number and everything. So we're getting to the point where this is going to be hooked up, and a bunch of places sell extra wiring kits for extra length. This is crew, as you can see here. It's crew cab. I am not going to run a wire directly to the battery because Polaris provides hookups. This is directly from the battery right here, and this is directly to the frame. So everything on this winch is going to be hooked up from here to there. It's not going to be all the way back to the battery. It doesn't need to be. Polaris pre-wired a lot of these things with a lot of features, and I'm going to take advantage of them. What else do I want to talk about? So this winch has, let me show you. Okay, so this winch has it has a handheld switch and a switch for the handle, what would be the handlebars, but it's going to mount inside of it. And then this is where this hooks up. I'm going to mount this underneath, and I believe Harbor Freight has a wireless winch switch that will hook up right to this, and then I can just have it wireless. So I honestly don't think I'm going to mount a winch switch in here. I bought it already, but my thought behind it is I won't need it if I have a wireless remote. So before I get too involved in sending wires through here to get up to the switch, I'm just going to see if that will work. Why I'm not sure whether it'll work or not is because Harbor Freight claims that the wireless remote that they sell that looks like it'll hook right into this only says it works for the larger winches. This is a 3,500 pound winch. They claim it only works for the, I don't know, 7 and 12,000 pound winches, 7, 9, and 12 or something like that. Doesn't say it works for this, but in this video you will find out whether it works because I'm going to buy it. I'm going to try it and see if it'll work. So I'm going to get back to this. I'm going to hook up the yellow wire to the yellow, blue to the blue, and then this is going to end up mounting like that. So I'm going to have everything mounted so it's not going to touch, and these connectors, and you'll see either some more pictures or I'll come back and show you a little more here in a moment. Okay, so I have this all hooked up. Red wire to the positive terminal from the battery that's pre-wired. Body ground that goes straight to the black. The red's over here. Now what I am going to do is tape all of that with red tape. Those are just, I believe thermal fuses. I'm going to tape that all up because if that's all hot now, so if it makes contact with the body ground, it's going to be all bad. Other than that, it's hooked up, so I will have to plug this in and then we could see if it works. Okay, so the winch is wired. I'm going to go ahead and put this on and run the cable from the front of the machine out to this and hook up the 4 bolts. There's a bolt that mounts there, and then 2 on the bottom right under there and there. There they are. I'm gonna put them back on. So what I noticed once I put this on is that the cable is going to rub on the bottom of the bumper. So I'm gonna have to let this go. I'm gonna have to pull all of the cable out and rewind it. So it may end up going backwards. I'm just gonna have to set the I'm gonna have to set the cable up separate, and in the end I may end up having to switch the yellow and blue, so when I hit in, it goes in, and out goes out. We'll see. But right now, if I leave it how it is, it's gonna rub on the bumper and it's gonna wear the cable, where if I flip it around, it'll feed straight out. So that's, I'm gonna end up doing that. So I said, or well, I might not have. The white wire goes over here. This is gonna be ground also to this bundle of wires, and this red is either going to be I'm going to have to get a plug that'll mount into this so it'll look clean and everything, but this will be a ignition operated switch, so it'll only work whenever the key is on. I don't want it to be on all the time because I think it'll drain the battery, but out of these plugs here, give me 1 second. There we go. Out of these plugs here, the top I believe is ground, the middle is always hot, and I believe the bottom is ignition only hot. I could be wrong. I'll label it, but I'm gonna get a plug so it'll look factory. Well, it'll look better, but for right now, to test it, I'm gonna run the red straight to the hot wire just to test it, and I'm going to put the white onto the black terminal right there. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so white to black, red is just kind of hanging on there, and these two sides are still just dangling, but I'm probably going to hook up the switch in the cab too. It's just easier to have. But here we go. Let's see. In is in. Out is out. I'm going to run it the whole way out and probably switch I'll probably do it up here, blue and yellow, so it'll switch, so it'll still be in and out, but it'll spool the opposite way. So yeah, run this all the way out, flip it, and we'll see what happens. I ran it all the way out. There is a Right here there is an Allen set screw. I'm gonna have to back that out, and then I can flip this over, and it'll wind up the opposite way. 3mm Allen. All right, so I flipped the yellow to the blue and the blue to the yellow to reverse the operation of the winch, since I want it to be wound on top. And I'm gonna hit in, and it's pulling it in. So that's pretty much it. There might be one more video of me running the wires through there into the dash and hooking up a switch instead of that junk switch that comes with it. But that's the gist of it. I hope this video helps you. If it does, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. That really helps me. If this video helps you, help me out. Subscribe, like the video. I would appreciate it. Thanks. It's nice to have a switch in the cab of the side-by-side. And I bought this anyways. I already had it. So I am going to use it because I don't see the point in not using it. I already paid for it. So this will be mounted on the dash. Momentary on switch. That's a diagram. You gotta run a separate ground to the machine from this, but you got power coming in on 1 or on 2 and 1 and 4. Pretty simple. Okay, so we are back to the winch project. I got the switch I'm gonna hook up. I already pulled these 2 pins, then this cover comes off, giving you access to right there is where everything pushes through to get to all the winch wiring. And I am going to mount that switch right here. So this is a knockout. I'll probably have to cut it out with my knife. Not sure exactly what that's going to entail, but I got the pretty much everything ready. So these 2 wires are both positive. I will hook them together. I ordered a pulse connector, and as soon as that comes, I will hook them both up to key on. So the key has to be on to use them. As soon as these will just get tied into the same ring connector and then hooked. Well, no, they'll just get spliced directly into the harness that comes for both of these 2. One from that switch and one from this side of it. Everything else I'm just going to tidy up here. I'm going to run, like I said, this is my ground. It's not black, but it is what it is. And then I'm going to mount this probably right there. So this is everything all said and done. It's all tucked in this corner here, and I'm going to try to maybe tidy it up a little bit. But if this video helps you, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.